What's benefiting Facebook? What does Facebook look at to send people to your group? And what do they are looking for? And the single greatest metric, period, is engagement.
This is The Fighting Entrepreneur, the podcast dedicated to entrepreneurs looking to change the world. Learn how to start, build, and scale a business in today's highly competitive business environment. Here's your host, The Fighting Entrepreneur, Anik Singal.
What's up, you crazy fighting entrepreneurs? Guess who it is? Your favorite person in the whole world, Anik Singal, back with another episode. This is going to be an action-packed one with a great guest. I'm super excited. We're going to talk about Facebook groups. We're going to talk about community. We're going to talk about monetization. And then I'm going to turn this into a full-blown selfish consult session for myself. I've actually got a very good question, something I'm thinking about doing right now. And I got the best person I believe in the world to come on and teach me how to do it. All right. Even though we did have another great guest about Facebook groups, so I don't want to take away from her. She did a superb job. This one, we will look at Facebook groups a little bit differently. All right. So hang tight for that. But before we can go there, come on. What are you doing? Are you a member of Lurn Nation? LURN.com. We crossed over 300,000 members now. And we are growing at about 1,500 to 2,000 a day. By the end of this year, that's going to be at 5,000 a day. So here's the deal. We're connecting entrepreneurs, bringing them together in one platform. We're going to put 10 million entrepreneurs into one place from all over the world. And I'm telling you right now, you want greatness, you want change, you want revolution in this world, bring entrepreneurs together. That's what we're doing. So you can either stand by on the sidelines and watch our movement go right by you, or you can go to LURN.com, sign up for an absolutely free account, and join the revolution. This is going to be awesome. We want to connect entrepreneurs all over the world, make great things happen, not only for you, but for the world as a total. All right. So now let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. I've got an amazing guest on. His name is Josh Forti, and I've gotten to know him here over the last, few months. I have no idea how we came across one another, but you're going to soon see. He's a fun guy. We josh back at each other all the time. No pun intended there. He's smart. All right. He's a young guy, but he's super smart. And I was on his podcast, which was awesome, which is called Think Different Theory. And we got a little podcast rivalry going on that we play up one another sometimes just to have a little fun. But you know what? He's no joke. He's managed over 5 million followers. He's all about, at a young age of 25, he's all about mindset. And he understands the supreme power behind mindset. But his two main skills, he says, are sales and social media. Today, we're going to talk about Facebook groups. We're going to talk about Facebook groups, how to build a Facebook group of 30,000 or more, how to grow it, how to nurture it, and then how to monetize it. And then I'm going to turn around and ask him to help me build a strategy for a Facebook group that I want to build that's for the local Learn Center we have here. So you're going to be at the forefront of it. They're going to watch me implement this over the next coming months. So it's going to be really exciting. Josh, man, thank you so much for taking time away from your life, your family, your business to being here with us with Learn Nation and giving us value, man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, Anik. Thank you so much for having me on. Quite the intro. I am looking forward to this. This is going to be super fun. And I will say, I do have to disagree. This could be the second coolest podcast in the world, but mine's the coolest. So
there we go.
Throwing that out there right off the bat.
Yeah, it's all good, man. We'll compete with one another right to the top. All right, let's do it.
That's right.
I will say, man, according to Chartable, the fighting entrepreneur, we're getting kind of up there nowadays. I'm starting to rock some of those leaderboards. Josh, we have something big coming at the Fighting Entrepreneur starting early next year. You better be careful, man. I got a growth hack coming. I'm not telling anybody about.
Oh man,
it's gonna be fun.
Not telling anybody about it.
It's gonna be fun.
I think I have a couple growth hacks too, but we'll see what happens.
All right, awesome. So Josh, we have a tradition here at the Fighting Entrepreneur. I just need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me, sir.
Oh boy.
I, Josh Forti.
I, Josh Forti.
Do solemnly swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
Do solemnly swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
And to reveal all my Facebook group secrets.
Oh, and to reveal all of course, I will for sure reveal all my Facebook group secrets.
Where did you think I was going with this?
I don't know, but you scare me sometimes, man.
He got all freaked out. Are you having an affair? Tell me now. No, all right, let's do this,
Definitely
man.
not.
All right, listen, let's dive right in. I'm going to go to round number 1. All right, Josh, round number 1. Who are you? What are you? Where'd you come from? And why think different theory? Why are you doing all this stuff, man? Why do you get up every morning and be Josh?
It's a great question. So, super quick background. I was Born in Wisconsin. At the age of 1, I moved to Los Angeles, grew up there as a child till about age 11. My dad quit his job, and my parents sold the house, sold everything, packed all 8 of us kids, I have 7 siblings, into the back of an RV, and we started driving across country, and somehow, some way, we ended up in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, in a little farm town. So at age 11, my whole world was just changed. And so I grew up on a farm, learned the value of hard work, farm kid, homeschooled my whole life, and realized very quickly that the world, the world's not a nice place when it comes to just giving you what you want. You got to work really, really hard for it. And so I didn't want to be in farming my whole life. To me, it was just not enough upside for the amount of work. And I wanted more than that. Nothing against them. But I went into entrepreneurship, got a job in sales. And while I figured out this whole entrepreneurship journey, I sold life and health insurance door to door to businesses. So not even to individuals, but literally door to door to businesses.
How old were you during that?
22, man.
Wow,
21,
man.
22.
It's like 3 years ago. That's awesome.
21 is when I started. I quit at 22. So yeah, there was a year and a half in there of, let me tell you, like the whole slams doors in your face is not a like makeup, like just kind of expression. That's a real thing. It happens very often. And I've had literal doors slammed in my face.
Did you know that I've also sold insurance, life insurance?
I feel like all good salespeople at some point or another go through the insurance game.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a prerequisite, right?
That's how I started, man. Yeah.
That's right. But anyway, so I stumbled across, as trying to figure out the whole entrepreneurship game. I came across social media, Instagram particularly, and that was my big break moment. And that was kind of the thing that made me who I am today. Was I doubled down and figured out Instagram. I bought a course, and I mean the classic rags to riches story. Like I always feel weird saying it because I'm like, I always hate on those people that exaggerate things, but like it was like I was broke. Like I really was. I didn't have a whole lot of money. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and Instagram was that way out for me. And so fast forward, 2.5 years later, after I started that, we had grown and managed over 5 million followers for clients. We had worked with big names. We had accounts that we managed that like Ronda Rousey, Usher, and Kobe Bryant were following, like some really big stuff. I'm responsible for getting, I don't think they're together anymore, but Britney Spears' boyfriend at the time, we got him verified. So like a lot of really big connections and like into that area. And that's really what put me on the map, was this fact that I could grow Instagram accounts really, really fast. And so then I met Russell Brunson, read his book, .com Secrets. And that kind of taught me about marketing, because it turns out just because you have followers doesn't mean you make any money. Followers don't really mean a lot if you can't monetize. So learned all about the marketing side of things, really became fascinated with that, and ended up selling my agency to my business partner at the time, about 1.5 years in, and went off and started just really learning everything there was about sales, about social media sales, and about audience growth in general, not just Instagram, but Facebook groups was my next big venture, which we'll get to. We've done hundreds of thousands of members collectively in Facebook groups for clients and students, and have, worked with some pretty big names to get those done. And really, I mean, ultimately, the long and short of why I love doing this and like why I get out of bed every morning is about almost 2 years ago now. We're coming up on 2 years in November is when kind of everything started for me. Is I had like a really big breakdown moment. I had, went from making $25,000 a year on a farm to go and make like $250,000 my first year in business, and then on track to do like over $500,000 in take home. And I'm like, that's a crap load of money for a 23-year-old, 24-year-old, to have. And so I kind of like freaked out and hit rock bottom mentally, not financially, but more on the mental side of things, burnt out, and really questioned who I was, questioned really just everything about everything and why I did everything. And that's when I started studying mindset and studying identity and studying, where like what it really means to be an entrepreneur, be a human, and be successful in all areas of life. And so my big passion is I love growing audiences. I love helping people to sell. I believe that sales is something that every human being, no matter what profession that you're in, should learn. It should be required in school, I believe, like a sales training. But more importantly than that, I believe in spreading good ideas out into the world, ideas based in truth. And ideas based in like helping people change their lives and making the world a better place. So that's why I do what I do. It just so happens that I use social media, mindset, and sales related tools to do that. And that's what I'm passionate about. Is just money doesn't really drive me all that much. Money's simply a tool. But impact, the cliche like impact over income, but like truly meaning like my bills are paid for. I'm pretty much a happy camper. But I do want to make a really big impact in people's lives because I think there's a lot of crap out there.
Dude, you lived a pretty full life there. I love that. You're only 25.
I'm telling you what.
That's so awesome, man. All right. So a couple of things I wrote down. I got a couple questions for you. One, when you were driving in the RV, like how long were you driving? Were you guys living out of the RV for a while, or you just drove straight to Indiana?
So we like made some stops on the way, but I want to say it was probably like we left January, like I want to say like the 20th of January maybe, and I know we got into Indiana like around the 4th of February. So like
okay, so it was just a couple weeks.
Nothing crazy, but that being said, we didn't know that because we didn't have a house lined up. We thought we were going to Vermont, and we ended up in Indiana. So like we had no idea where we were going. We just happened to find something along the way, and my parents were like, "This one works. Here we go."
That's so crazy. Oh my God, it gives me anxiety just to think about that. That's crazy.
I know.
Right? Wow. All right. One of my dreams is to, and I don't know why I haven't done it yet. I mean, I could do it anytime. My wife and I talked about it recently too. I just want to drive across country. Not necessarily in an RV. I just want to drive across the country. I want to stop along the way.
I've done that too many times.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many parts of the world, but I've not seen all the parts of this country, which just sucks. Okay. The other thing, you talked about how youth, like being able to sell should be like an innate part of schooling. And I thought that was interesting.
100%.
Did you know that we do youth entrepreneurship programs now at the Lurn Center, and we teach them how to pitch? That's like the first thing that we're teaching them.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I would fully support that and get behind that. That's incredible.
Yeah, we've run 2 workshops about it, and it was great, man. These kids are so good. And the third thing, I have a question, and then we're going to move into the round 2. I've been wanting to ask you this question for a while, but I figured I'd do it on the podcast. The name of your podcast, so I'm going to plug for you guys. Go listen to it's an awesome podcast. He just covers such a crazy array of topics that make you think different. I get think different. What's with the theory? Like, yeah, how does that? What's with the name of that?
It's a great question. So, I think that I believe that there's ultimate truth in the world, right? I believe there's ultimate truth in the universe, but I don't think there's as many as a lot of people, especially religious people, think there are. And I believe that all decisions do need to be based out of some grounding, right? We can't just make decisions off of emotion. They need to be based in truth, or at least based in facts, right? And so when you think differently about everything, really the starting process of that, you're kind of just starting with a theory, right? And then you've got to go out and test it, right? And so my thing is I've got this theory that if you think differently about everything that you do know and understand, you can live whatever life that you want to live, right? And my life, I'm proving that. I'm going to prove that. That's my theory, and my life is the case study, so that in 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, I can look back and go, hey, think different theory. I'm the case study. Here's the proof. And so the theory of it is, hey, I think everybody should have a theory. I think everybody should have a belief system. And then I think that they should go out and validate it until it becomes fact. And so that's kind of the thought process behind that. Plus it's catchy.
Wise answer. All right. Awesome. Well, that wraps us up. Let's go to round number 2. So we're going to dive right in now. We're going to talk about Facebook groups. I want to learn. I want tactics. I want to apply. So round number 2, why Facebook groups? Because it's such a core part of what you do. You said tens of thousands of members that you've generated between your own and other people's. Earlier, when I was talking to you before this podcast started recording, you were pretty much like, look, social media, this is the place to be. So explain to our listeners, there's so many. I think social media, the biggest problem with it is overwhelming. There's so many platforms. There's so many things you could do. Now there's and in each platform, they have multiple things. On Instagram, you can have IGTV, you can have videos, you can have images, you can have stories. There's probably other things too. So why of all that noise, why Facebook groups?
Yeah, for sure. So first and foremost, I want to establish that, each each social media platform serves its own purpose, right? And I think that we really need to understand and look at the platforms for what specifically they're designed to do. I love Instagram. I love Facebook groups. I love YouTube. I love, Instagram stories. I love podcasts. I use many of them, email lists. And I think that as you grow, you should incorporate more and more. You shouldn't try to take everything on at once, but you do need to incorporate them. The reason that Facebook groups are an absolute critical key part of your whole process is because of how a Facebook group it itself is designed and made up. So if you ever read the book Tribes by Seth Godin, he talks about how when you build a community and when you're building an audience, which I am obsessed with on social media, is you, the leader, need to be able to talk to your community. Your community needs to be able to talk to you. And then your community also needs to be able to talk to each other. And so what a Facebook group does is it allows for all of those things to happen. And it serves as, and whenever I pitch clients on this or whatever, I draw it out as a Facebook group right in the center of all the rest of your platforms, and how all platforms are focused on their specific thing, their specific type of content, but they all need to push back to the Facebook group at the center, because that is where your followers and your audience is going to be able to communicate with each other. They're going to give you massive amounts of feedback of what they like, what they don't understand. From a sales perspective, you're going to learn objections and all sorts of fun stuff. But then that community aspect, if you ever want to do an event, if you ever want to get people around a cause, like, yeah, I can hype it up on Instagram, right? But if I want people to be able to post, if I want people to be able to engage and really be in it together, a Facebook groups allows people to do that. And additionally, a Facebook group is the only social platform where content produced by other members benefits you as well. So like, I'm the only one that can post on Instagram. I'm the only one that can post on my Facebook account. But in a Facebook group, I can produce one piece of content or 3 pieces of content a day, say, and my members can produce 50 pieces of content, and all 50 of those pieces of content benefit me and the group as a whole. Yeah. And so it's this community aspect of growth combined, rather than just I'm the one that has to produce every piece of the content.
Love it. All right, perfect. So I was talking about this the other day with someone, I can't remember now. Jeff Hunter. And
shout out Jeff Hunter. He's cool.
Yeah. So Sunday night after football, I'm sitting there watching TV, and I see a commercial. And I have never ever seen I've never seen a commercial by Facebook, except for when they went through their litigation stuff where, Mark Zuckerberg had to go to Congress. I did see commercials then. They were apologizing for stuff and promising to make changes.
Right.
But this is the first time I saw a commercial ever in Facebook's existence, and as far as I've seen, that was promoting Facebook on major media TV. And it was not about Facebook. It was not about join Facebook. It was none of that. It was Facebook groups. And that, for me, was a big light bulb moment. I realized, if this company is spending millions of dollars on national television to promote a very specific feature of their platform, I think if I was a betting man in Vegas, I could bet that that's where they are seeming to go. Now, I'm a part of a few groups. I'm not a part of a lot of groups, but I'm part of a few groups. And I have to say, over the last few months, I have noticed a massive trend of them kicking out most of my friend updates and all of that. And it's just like group updates. And I also observe my user behavior. And sure enough, I engage more. I am actually engaging more with these groups. I just got done having a big fight on one of them this morning. It's a little bit of a political group, so we're having a bit of a, we're having a moment, and it's all right. But that's all of that constant going back, logging in and talking and going back and forth. That's giving Facebook constant feedback that I'm enjoying that group.
And I think it's important to realize there that if I'm going to engage somewhere, like you like football, so do I, right? Yeah. You also like politics, so do I. You also like entrepreneurship, so do I, right? Like you and I are very similar in that way. But if you're posting, let's say you have a friend that's posting all about football, the likeliness of you making public comments and wasting your time publicly on someone's profile or timeline about football is lower than if you are specifically in a group where you know that every single person that's going to see that comment, because it's in a group, is specifically there for football. Now it makes sense. And so it creates, not to get political, but almost like a safe space, right? For you to be able to engage there. And I engage on New England Patriots stuff. I'm a huge New England Patriots fan, but I'm not going to talk about that all the time and post and argue with people in the comment sections on a public forum. But if it's in a public or a private Facebook group where that's all is talked about, I'm much more likely to engage and do that. And that's the exact same thing that Facebook is betting on.
You always been a Patriots fan, or are you just getting on the bandwagon now?
Since I was 8 years old, bro.
All right.
I hope I'm a Lakers fan. Since I'm a Lakers fan too, and we suck. So I'm not a bandwagon, I promise.
Good. Sorry, I'm just a little sour, dude. I like the Redskins. Like, come on, give me. Redskins.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. At this point, I just hope they lose the rest of the season so we can get some good draft picks. I mean, it's already gone. Might as well get the worst record ever.
Perfect.
All right, that's my plan. If I'm the owner of Redskins at this point, I'm like, hey guys, can you just lose the rest of the games? All right, man, let's move forward. I want to go into round number 3. All right, so round number 3. Here's we're going to talk about growing groups and all of that stuff, but I want to get right to a fundamental challenge I'm facing. We have a group for our Lurn Nation. At the time I'm filming this, we're close to 5,000 people. I have no idea how people are finding it. They're just getting in there. I mean, I'm getting 50 to 100 people opting in for it every day. It's awesome. I'm not really filtering anyone. I'm improving everyone. We are watching the feed, like some self-promo crap we get rid of, but we're not doing much with it. And I don't know what to do with it. Here's my challenge, Josh. So I got this podcast, which is 3 episodes a week. It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
I got just my life. I got business. I got ads to film. I got courses to create. I have partners to talk to, marketing campaigns to do. It's just so much going on. And I already have, like, I am already outputting so much content. So then I sit and think, like, I really want this Lurn Nation group to grow. I would love to see it super active. Like, I love the ClickFunnels group, right? I think it's a great group. It serves its purpose. You can see great questions being asked. You can ask good questions, get answers like that.
Right.
I would love for that to be what happens with Lurn Nation, but the Facebook group part, I just don't know. Like, how do you post? Give me some kind of idea. Should I be posting more content? Should I get my team to start doing even more videos, more interviews, more? Like, how do I get this group? Right now, you get really weird types of questions, very newbie, it's not, in my opinion, I don't think it's serving Lurn Nation the best. We could level up, but I just don't know how to do it what should I do with that group?
Yeah, for sure. So just to clarify, this is not the local group. This is just a group for anybody that wants
exactly.
to
I don't
in.
have the local group yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to go over this and then summarize all of it into a strategy for that. This is a international group. This is anyone can join. You don't have to be a buyer, and it's just meant to be for entrepreneurs to connect. And about 5,000 that have pure organic just found their way in there.
For sure. So one of the things that's absolutely crucial for groups that I don't think people understand, and like it starts with the name. And if you have a branded, if it's under Lurn Nation per se, then, you can kind of brand it under that. But there needs to be a very, very clear intention for what your group is about. And what happens is that people they grow these groups. And I've seen groups grow to 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people in it and then just die out because like Facebook will push it. There's that momentum push. Someone's got a big list that they blasted out for a while and then they'll kind of forget about it because they're like, I don't know what to do with this group, right? Like I just have people in here. What do I do with it? So if there is not a very consistent messaging behind why people are in there and getting questions specifically around that, there's going to be mass confusion. The only people that are going to post in there are newbies, and you're going to run into the issues that you're running into right now. And so how that's solved is, I'm going to use the ClickFunnels group as an example because, you talked about that. It's pretty obvious what we're there for when it comes to ClickFunnels. It's to talk about ClickFunnels related stuff, and an overwhelming majority of people that are in that group know what ClickFunnels is or are ClickFunnels users. So when you have businessy related, ClickFunnels related questions, naturally people are going to go in there, engage, answer questions, create that sense of community. But if Russell Brunson had named it the Russell Brunson group, right? Or the ClickFunnels group, and had no form of education in that group whatsoever about what it's about, it would just be a free-for-all mess. And so what you have to do with your Facebook group is you're the one that sets the tone for what the group is going to be about through your name, through your content, through the tags that you use, through the people that you bring in. And so like for me, my group was called Social Media for Entrepreneurs. All right. That was the name of the group. So guess what we talked about when we were in there? Social media specifically for entrepreneurial related people. We didn't talk about it for creators. We didn't talk about it for, people that wanted to be hip hop artists. You know what I mean? Like we talked about it. Are you a business owner? Are you an entrepreneur that wants to leverage social media for your business? And so right away from the get-go, you set the expectation going in. And so when you have that, that's what's ultimately going to help you guide what it is that you're going to create. So with you at the Lurn Center, it's your job to get really super clear on what Lurn Center is about and set the expectations going in and moving forward consistently, especially at the beginning of saying, hey, no, the Lurn Center is about entrepreneurship, right? It's one thing to be like, yeah, it's the Lurn Center. Okay, I don't know what that is. That sounds super cool. But if you don't have a niche down direction of like, this is what we're doing, then you are going to get all the random questions about it.
So with Lurn Nation, let's work through that because you're right. I have no idea. So the challenge with Lurn is that we're a transformational home for entrepreneurs. So we cover all kinds of topics. You might be a digital publisher, affiliate marketer, e-com, local store owner, or whatever. So it's hard for me to get that specific where it's like social media for entrepreneurs. But
what's the common traits behind all of them?
Entrepreneurship. for sure. I mean,
Right.
we're talking about entrepreneurship, but I still feel like that's too generic. And so when I was creating the group, I guess my real goal was, while we're still building on the social features of my platform, which are still months away, I wanted there to be a vehicle or a way for my students to connect with one another inside of the group. So I don't know if I'm getting closer to it, but it was more about connecting people to talk to one another, which we don't have the ability to do yet on the platform. And I mean, I haven't really done anything to drive that behavior, and neither am I really seeing that behavior. Most people that are messaging in there are like, hey, thanks for letting me in. It's a great place to be. Like, you get mostly that kind of messages, and there's not much more happening. Ideally, I think I'd love for them to be talking about marketing. I'd love for them to be talking about questions and challenges. I do think that group could be a good group for mindset. I mean, I feel like that's one thing that is very common amongst all entrepreneurs. And since we cover so much tactical stuff in Lurn, like the classrooms and all the courses we offer, maybe we should be using that. So one of the thoughts I had is, like, I could ask one of my team members to create a little weekly show where they just interview our students. And so they post like success stories. So it's like every week, at a certain time, we'll have a student in there doing a live interview. And then throughout the week, you just kind of really give daily, mindset techniques or tricks, and maybe that will start to kind of create the conversation that's happening in there. I mean, am I getting closer to?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I would say is, okay, so you want to have a place where people can connect and interact with each other.
Yeah.
Probably more mindset related. See examples of students. These are great things. So this is what you need to be putting out into there. So I would start with, and once again, you've got already 5,000 people in there. Yeah. So now you've already got an audience that you're going to have to start to transfer. It's easier. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's easier to push that direction when you start with 500 members or 1,000 members and you set that expectation. Yeah. Now you're at 5,000, which is not, I mean, that's not too far gone by any means, right? It's not like it's 100,000 people, but now you need to start setting those expectations of that's what this is for. So making posts like, hey guys, would you say that people know you in there pretty well or not really?
100%. Yeah, they know who I am.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So be like, hey, listen. So you go in there, you make a post about everything and be like, guys, listen, here's the overall vision of this group, right? It's a place where you guys can interact with each other. It's a place for us to get feedback for what you want to do. We're going to focus on mindset, yada, yada, setting that expectation consistently, but then making posts of like, hey, everybody right now, everybody just drop a comment right now with a link to your offer, right? Like designated thread right here. And I'm going to go through, or if it's your team member posting it, Anik's going to go through and he's going to pick 2 people or 3 people or 1 person to go through and break down their sales funnel or break down their marketing. And we'll drop the video in here analyzing it. So if you want to be part of that, drop it down below. And then all of a sudden people are going to start commenting. Engagement's going to go up and people are going to start looking specifically for those types of things. And so when you have and like start to do things that, because remember, where the engagement goes, that's where energy's going. And where the energy goes, that controls the direction of the group, right? This is just human psychology. So like, if I can bring energy and focus around those type of things, and how I did this in my group was I did this with Instagram accounts, right? I was like, hey, everybody drop your Instagram account below. I'm going to follow a bunch of, random ones of you guys. I'll pick 10 of you guys to follow, and then I'll do some Instagram audits. I'd get 500 comments, 700 comments pretty consistently every single time that I did that on a 10 or 15,000 member group, because that was attractive to the people in the group about social media. So like, you've got to find those things. And at the beginning, like when you're setting the tone for it, you're going to have to give more effort, more of your time to go through and do a quick audit stuff or whatnot. So people that see that you're serious about this, but eventually you're going to start getting massive amounts of feedback on those things. And they're going to start to tell you exactly what you want to see more of. And then your team can go through and create different little threads, start your show like you talked about, where they bring on and interview students of what they're doing that's successful, and then inevitably removing yourself from the problem.
Okay, I'm trying to get some ideas, and that's really cool. How often do I need to be posting into that? Me or my team? Should it be that we put a daily post in? Should it be video? Should it be weekly? Is there any kind of particular, number that creates the right engagement for Facebook to think, okay, this is a good group?
So, I mean, as a general rule, just remember the more engaged a Facebook group is as a whole, the more Facebook is going to promote it, right? I mean, that's just pretty basic as far as engagement is concerned. So it's a little bit different in your shoes. And so I do want to make the differentiation. Like, if you're a listener to this audio or podcast right now versus Anik, those are probably going to be two separate things because Anik is Anik, right? Like you have an audience, people know who you are. So you simply by showing up once is going to be equal to somebody else showing up 3 or 4 times in their group. So what I would tell like the normal person to go, because you have authority, the normal person that's going out there starting a group, like for the first month, I think that you should be going live every single day and you should be making a post every single day. And I would argue to say like 2 or 3 posts a day, every day at the beginning, because you've got to show up. You've got to establish yourself as the authority. You've got to set the expectations, set the direction. And like, you basically got to excite everybody else in there, because when there's 300 members in your group, it's not really all that exciting. There's lots of 300 member groups, but if you yourself give them a reason to be excited by producing lots of content and engaging with them, they're going to become more excited. You on the
Sorry. So with a post, do they all have to be video? Can I share a link? Let's say there's a great article. Let's say you posted an episode on your podcast that I really love, and I go in and I write a little snippet about it and I share it. Is that considered content?
Yeah. So I would never, ever include a link in the actual caption.
Put it in the comments, right?
Yeah. Put it in the comments. And I would say that like, and this just comes with knowing your group more. Yeah. So like I'm particular with the links that I share. I share links that either A, solve a really valuable problem, right? Like people, like they would genuinely want to know this. For me with social media, anytime like Instagram's releasing a new update about the algorithm or about IGTV, that's the type of stuff that I'm going to share because people are just going to be interested in that in general, right? Yeah. But if I'm sharing a promotional link where I want them to get on my list or I'm giving them a freebie or it's something that I really know that they want and they're willing to engage for it, then I'm going to do what I call a comment stack post. And I'm going to put my picture up of it or whatever it is that I'm talking about, write my description and say, listen, and I'm honest with my people. Like they know the reason I do comment stack posts is because if I just drop that link down below, it's going to get this much engagement. But if all 100 of you people comment on it, it's going to get way tons of engagement. So I'll tell them, be like, listen, it's free, 100% for free. But all you got to do is just comment, drop the link below or comment, give me it below. And then that's going to start to rack up people. And then I just have my VA go through and just DM them over the link or reply back the link with the comments. And then I usually say after like 10 or 20 people comment, you can just drop the link in the comments. Not a big deal. But I need that first 10 or 20 people to engage on that, because the second I drop a link into, for sure in the post, but even in the comment section, Facebook like, oh, we know what you're doing. Like you're not the only one to do it, right? So if you can stimulate that engagement first and then drop that link in there, you're going to get way more. So when it comes to like, hey, should I do video? Should I do images? I never, ever, ever on Facebook post a pre-recorded video, like ever. The only type of video that I do is live. Okay. And if I have a pre-recorded video, I stream it as live because the engagement at one point it was like 12 times more. It's not quite that anymore. I think it's like 4 to 6, but it is significantly more engaged on a live stream when you do a live stream than on a typical video post. Now, image posts work really well. Written posts work really well too. I mean, it's more of the type of content that you're posting, but
how do you stream live? How do you stream live an existing video into a group? I know you can do it to pages, but I don't think you could do it to groups. I think we've tried the couple software, XSplit and all, and we weren't able to do it. Do you have a software that can do it into a group?
No, we just stream it to the page and share the page stream to the group.
Oh, okay. I got it.
But that being said, though, typically speaking in the group, I just do it live, right? So like for someone like you could get away with 1 or 2 live streams a week in your group and people still know who you are and be like, heck yeah, Anik's on. They get you're a busy human and like you're not showing up for them every single day because you are busy and going out there doing that. They're going to get that. But someone that's just starting out, they're like, you got to give me a reason to be in your group, bro. Like if you're going to come live once a week for me, like unless I have an emotional connection to you somehow, like I don't care. But if you're there every single day, and they like, you're a charismatic person, you're entertaining, you give them a reason to be there, they're going to show back up. And so like what I always tell people is when you're first starting out your group, plan on 3 posts a day, 1 live, 1 image, 1 written. If you can put out 3 pieces of content a day, 1 of each type every single day for the first month, the likeliness of your group being successful after 30 straight days of doing that is so significantly higher than those that don't do that, that it's almost like a guarantee that you will continue to do that because now your brain has just gotten to the rhythm of wanting to do that.
That's awesome. Love it.
Yeah. So for you, I would say a little bit less, but overall, I would say if you're a beginner person, plan on at least 3 times a day.
Well, one of the good things that we've got here is we've got some great team members that could be hosts, so we could actually have activity regularly, whereas maybe I only show up for a little bit one time a week or whatever, but that doesn't mean that the group won't be active. We can have other people kind of running that live, running the engagement. Awesome. Well, I want to move into round number 4 because
let's do it.
This is probably the one that I'm like most interested in. So round number 4, how to grow your group. And I'm not going to add any more to it. I'm just going to let you go, and I'm going to have a lot of questions here. So 30,000 is no small number, man. That's a big number. So what'd you do?
Well, it was actually 35,000 at one point. We deleted 5,000 people.
That's a great. I got to ask you questions about that. Thanks. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things that you have to remember, okay, what you have to look at is what's benefiting Facebook. What does Facebook look at to send people to your group, and what do they are looking for? And the single greatest metric, period, is engagement. Okay. Like that is the number one metric that if your group is engaged, Facebook is going to promote it and want people to go into it. So first and foremost, I would never, barring you have a huge, massive list once again, like you do, but for the average person, I'm not going to launch a group and just set it up and be like, hey, come join my group. Like I'm going to make a big deal out of it, right? Like I'm going to do a launch. I'm going to pre-launch. I'm going to get 100 or 200 people, or depending upon the size of your list, more than that, like pending before I ever open it, because right away when it launches, I want it to launch fast. I want activity, and I want Facebook to know that I'm willing to put effort and energy into this. Okay. Then what I like to do is, and have not been through a lot of your funnel, so I don't know what ultimately ends with. But what I tell people to do is like,
what the hell, man? That's kind of insulting, but all right.
I know, what the heck, man.
What do you do all day and not study me? But that's okay.
Do you study me at all?
Let's change the topic now. Let's keep moving forward.
All right.
Back to what we were talking about.
So what I tell people is, okay, like when you have someone's attention, all roads need to lead to Facebook groups. Okay. So like if I'm opting into a freebie, right, and you don't have an upsell, which, self-liquidating offers I'm all about, but whether you have an upsell or not, the final page that person sees before they click off of it, all of those things should be sending into, a Facebook group. Yeah. All of it should be linking back to that. All your call to actions need to end up in a Facebook group. Think of a Facebook group like a swimming pool. Okay. You've got this big swimming pool. You got to fill it with water. You got to fill it with members, right? Yeah. The more hoses you put in that swimming pool, the faster it's going to grow.
So,
right?
So basically what you're saying is like if the group is more engaging, Facebook likes it. So Facebook has their own, they're recommending it somewhere. I don't use 100%. Facebook that much except for on my phone. Like, is there a place where it says recommended groups? I've never seen it.
All the time. All the time. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Sidebar notifications. Anytime that you join another group, there'll be like other groups like this. Any group, like I get probably, I would venture to say that half, I'd probably say half, maybe not quite half, but 10,000 members of the 30 for sure came simply from Facebook recommending the group to people. Like so, whenever we've run polls, that's the data we've gotten back, like 30%.
So that's interesting. Should I be considering changing the name of my group so it's like Lurn Nation - Marketing and Mindset for Entrepreneurs? I don't even know if that's too long of a name, but.
So when we teach, like I have a program specifically called Facebook Hacks for this. And one of the things that we talk about is the name, right? It gets tricky with branded content like what you're talking about here, because keywords play a massive role into organic search. So yes, I like adding those things in. At some point, once you're big enough, you're going to want to drop that off because you do want to be brand. But at the beginning, I would recommend putting in those keywords. But also I would say, you get 5 tags for your group. Those tags do go a long way when it comes to telling Facebook what your group is about. So like for me, I'm like social media, sales, mindset. I forget my 4th one, but one of my tags is Gary Vaynerchuk. And everyone was like, why would you do that? I'm like, because people that consume Gary Vaynerchuk's content are the type of people that I'm targeting. In fact, I think my 4th one might be Grant Cardone. I'm not sure if that was available or not. But anyway, like, that I'm looking for, and I'm using those tags, people that are searching Gary Vaynerchuk. Now my group is going to be likely to be recommended because I've tagged my group in that way. right? And like I did the same thing for
Smart.
Russell Brunson. His team actually reached out to me and asked me to take it down because they're like, we don't want you mooshing off of our stuff. But like Gary's cool with it. Like, and there's a lot of those things where you can get away with that because those tags do play a lot when it comes to like Facebook recommending things. So
Smart.
what I like to do is optimize my name, optimize my tags and things of that nature for Facebook recommending. And then how I'm going to go and get stuff is through my lead magnets, my paid products, my, if you're just starting out and you don't have an audience, leveraging other people's audience, podcast interviews, Facebook interviews, content in other Facebook groups. One of the most powerful ways still to this day, as much as some people will say no, is optimizing your Facebook profile. To your profile is just one big funnel right to your Facebook group, your cover photo, your little sidebar links there. And you go and spend an hour a day posting super valuable content in all of your competitors' Facebook groups. Because let me ask you something, and maybe not you, but even you, I bet, if you're in a Facebook group and you see someone just post this bomb freaking post, like it is just super, super valuable content, what's the very first thing that you're going to do?
I click on the person, I go to their profile.
You're going to click on that person. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So if that content matches up exactly with what you're talking about in your profile and it's linked back to your Facebook group, well, if I'm halfway interested in it, I'm going to click join the group.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like doing that, like producing content in other places, that's playing such a huge role into what we're doing. And we have to remember that Facebook is 10 times smarter than you. Facebook knows what you're about as long as you tell them what you're about.
Yeah.
So if you engage on that type of content, you post that type of content, you use those tags, they're going to recommend it in a lot of other places. And then your job is to jumpstart that and continue to show Facebook that you're putting people in that group by creating lead magnets that get people in that group, by running ads or having paid products that link back to that group. Everything that you do for your first, 90 days of that group being active should be really, really focused on making sure that group is growing.
Love it. And, okay, what else? I got a few questions here that I'm going to ask you.
I would say, and this might be skipping ahead, and we can talk about this more in like the last one, because I think there's like a tools and resources one. But I've even gone so far as to say that I'll run ads, like even solo ads or do promo stuff like that, where I'll say, hey, listen, I've got this freebie to give you, right? Like whatever it is, like this guide, tips, hacks, whatever. Join my Facebook group and we're going to send it to you. And then we just use a software. It's called Group Funnels, that when you get 3 questions that you can ask everybody when they join your group. One of those things is to get your freebie and to join this group, please leave your email address below, required. And you can set it to where you only approve people that join on the email or drop their email. And then we just use Zapier. We zap it over to spreadsheet into ClickFunnels or whatever automated software that you're using. And then it sends out the welcome email and now they're on your list. So now the opt-in, the literal requirement for them to get into your group, or to get in your freebie or your guide, whatever you're giving them. And I actually, for me now, I use my $197 course. I have a social media secrets training. And I'm like, hey, if you want this, you can buy it for $197 or you can just join my group and I'll give it to you for free.
So, okay, so I already got 5,000 people, but that opportunity's gone, right? Like I can't grab those 5,000 people's email addresses and dump them into.
No, unfortunately not.
The reason I'm asking that's kind of cool is because then when you're going to go live, you can send an email out. Like it would having an email list attached to your group will increase the engagement in itself.
Well, can I take it one step further for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Gosh, I wish I had like a whiteboard. I could like draw this out. What I do is, let's say I'm blasting out my email list. And this typically works best to an existing list. You can run ads to it, but you have to be careful because technically in Facebook terms and conditions, you can't run an ad directly to a Facebook group. There needs to be something else in between there. But what I do whenever I'm blasting out to my email list, doing Instagrams, doing podcast interviews like this, I'm like, here, click this link right here. The link takes them to a chat bot. The chat bot delivers the instructions to them on how to get into the group and how to do everything. Then they leave their email for the group. I have them on a chat bot and I have their email. And then anytime I'm going live in the group, I just blast it out on the chat bot because the open rates and the engagement rates are 10 times higher.
Something's happened there though, right? You can't blast chat bots anymore now. Like you have to pay or something. What's the...
Well, right. If they don't engage after a certain period of time.
Yeah.
So,
but it's still like dirt cheap, I've heard. It's not expensive.
Yeah,
okay.
not comparatively. So
that is smart. That is smart. You said something about ads. Recently, I was really proud of myself because I figured out a way to do ads to a group. because most people don't know this. You can't run ads to a group. There's no option inside of Facebook. However, with a little Googling, I ran it for some time. It worked. I just wanted to test how it would work. So you share the group link on your profile page, on my public profile page where I run ads from, and it creates a beautiful like inbuilt, like it's right there. And if you click it, it asks to join the group. And then you boost that post. You can't run an ad to the post. You can boost it. All you can do is hit boost post. And I did that, and that does limit your targeting a lot. It's not like you can't go as detailed as I'd love to go. I'd love to just literally target people that are part of Lurn Nation.
Wouldn't it be awesome?
What's that?
I said, wouldn't it be awesome if you could do that?
Yeah. Well, I guess then the problem is they want this to be their big thing, and they want it to be organic. They don't want you manipulating it. But was I violating their terms of service when I figured out this little hack to do it?
It depends on who you ask.
Cool.
Like, you know what I mean? So
don't ask questions you don't want answers to, basically.
Right, exactly. So
right.
what I do instead of that is I just put it up an opt-in wall or a guide, like something there to where if a Facebook ad rep was going to click on it, it is clear that the very first step is not join my Facebook group. So this could be a freebie, a guide, a free video training. And then at the bottom, it could be like, join my Facebook group, right? But like, it just can't be click here to join my Facebook group, right to Facebook group. It's only a matter of time before you will get in trouble if you do that.
So this is even different, man. This is like literally the ad itself has a button that ends up saying join group.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But it's a boost. And so there's a huge gray area of like, is a boosted post considered an ad, and does that violate terms of service? I've talked to multiple different people on Facebook, and some of them are like, yep, that violates it. And some of them are like, no, you could probably get away with it. And I'm like, great. Okay. That's real clear. Right.
Yeah.
So when you have a $100 billion organization like Facebook, it's kind of like, play it for as long as you can.
They can do what they want. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Right.
So mostly a lot. So would you say of your 35,000, I guess most of it was, or you didn't buy much advertising. That was really just plugging it into your existing funnels, formulas, plugging it into your existing data.
Right. I didn't pay for anything.
Okay.
I never ran an ad, never once. No. So for me personally,
Yeah.
we've done it on other people's stuff. But that being said, I leveraged like, I don't want to like self-put titles on myself, but I'm really stupid good with organic traffic. Like 5 million followers that I've grown and managed, I've spent this much money on ads to grow those. Zero. So like all that's been completely organic. So I love leveraging other people's audiences. I love leveraging audiences on other platforms, pushing people back and forth. If you can incentivize them, right? Law of reciprocity and law of reason to act now, right? So if you can incentivize them, you can get someone to do just about anything. And so that's why I always laugh when people are like, Instagram, organic engagement's going down, or Facebook groups are dead. I'm like, no, they're not. They're just, you just got to be smarter. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to know what you're doing. And so if you can incentivize people, you can get them to do just about anything. So I would just go and leverage other audiences.
How long did you go to build that 35,000 audience? Like how long did it take you?
Just over 2 years, all organic.
That's awesome. All right.
No paid ads.
Yeah. Got it.
Keep in mind, like I started with zero. I was a nobody when I started. Like nobody knew who I was. I was the 21-year-old weirdo, right? So it's totally possible. And it's exponential snowball effect. And maybe you tell me whether this is a topic for a different phase, but I argue, especially when it comes to monetization and engagement, that smaller Facebook groups are more valuable per member, easier to manage, and easier to make money off of if you're 10,000 members or under versus 10,000 members and above. Because at 10,000 members and above, you and I know how to do those and manage something of that scale, but most people are not ready for the commitment and the logistics behind managing like 20, 30,000 members that takes. Like I've managed I've been admins on and moderated like 70,000 member Facebook groups. Like the amount of thought process it goes to churn content to 70,000 people. Like you're posting like 8 or 9, 10 posts a day to get in front of everybody and keep them active.
That's crazy. You mentioned something, deleting people. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So remember that Facebook looks at overall engagement. So if I have 30,000 members in my group versus 35,000 members in my group, if the engagement is the exact same, the percentage of engagement is going to be higher on 30,000 than it is on 35. So what I did, and unfortunately, Facebook doesn't just let you go and hit delete inactive members. So I hired a VA, and it was a painstaking process. Poor thing. I mean, but I paid them well. So, it is. And I literally had them go through, and you can actually see whether or not someone is engaged or not. Like, you can search their name and you can see whether or not they've ever posted or commented in the group. So I literally had a VA go through and search 5,000 people's names one by one. And if they had ever gone and engaged in the group within a year time frame, then I let them stay in the group. But if they had not commented or posted in the group within a 1 year period, I had them kick them from the group. And it took like a week of them. It was brutal. I would not have wanted to be that VA. But, I was like, here's what it is. Here's what you're going to do.
Is there no software that can do that? I feel like that's, dang. It's a good, because I was going to ask you.
But it go like they pop up, but they get shut down so quickly because Facebook doesn't, like, they don't want people integrating with their software unless they say they want them integrating with Facebook. You know what I mean?
Because I was going to ask you, I got excited when you said delete people from groups. I thought maybe you know a way to do it. And then I was going to ask you, I want to delete a bunch of people from my Facebook page. I want to get rid of like hundreds of thousands and just kick them out. But I don't know how to do it. So,
hire a VA and search them one by one and just be ready to go through a gruesome process. You could probably just block them, right?
Yeah, but then I won't remove them. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay. And then you definitely ask the questions. Hey, how hardcore are you on the questions? Like, if they don't answer even one of them, you decline them?
Personal preference. So I have some people that are that way. The only question I care about is the email address.
Okay.
So they leave their email address, I approve them.
And Group Funnels will automate this? That software, Group Funnels?
Yeah, Group Funnels. It's by a buddy of mine, Arnie Giske. You may know Arnie. He created it. And as of now, Facebook hasn't shut it down. I've been using it for over a year, and it is like awesome software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Group Funnels.
Use it every day.
GroupFunnels.com?
I don't know if it's .com. Let me look real quick. It's Group Funnel. I think it's .com, but it might be .co. Hold on. Yeah, GroupFunnels.com.
All right, perfect. Awesome. I'd love to, if you could maybe introduce me to him, maybe we'll have him on the podcast.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Awesome. So that is how to grow your group. I mean, that's a lot of stuff right there. I pretty much, I was really intrigued by the organic side of things and how to do that. And I love your idea of the ads, how you run these ads and then take it to a page where they get something different and then make them join the group in order to get it. But then go through the chat box in between. Awesome, man. Look, I kind of want to skip the next section, so I'm just going to ask it within this section. Monetize. I feel like that's kind of an obvious question. Do you have anything that's out of like get them into your email list and then sell them stuff? Is there like some magic pixie dust that goes over groups specifically for monetization outside of what we always talk about?
Yeah, so the only two big things that I would say is one, if you have any form of program that's like a $9.97 program or a program where you have a paid student group for your paid members, a really, really good hack for social proof is in order for them to get access to the paid student group, they have to go to your free group and say, hey, I just invested into name of your program here, and I'm super excited to start doing X result of whatever it is that you're teaching. Would you please, add me to the student group? And so like, let's say you get 1 or 2 buyers a day, even if it's a $500 program, right? Or even if you get 3 or 4 or 5 a week, right? Yeah. Major social proof. And it works really, really well when you do like a close down of a launch. Like there was one time we did a close down of a launch, and like in the last 48 hours, we had like 150 people buy, right? So like in like a matter of 24 hours, we had like 150 people post in the big group of like, I just invested in social media secrets. I just invested in social media. And like, everybody was like, what on the heck is social media secrets? Yeah. And so it was like 24 hours left, 12 hours left, 3 hours left. And it just kept skyrocketing, right? Wow. And like, we were expecting like, 20, 30 buyers because we weren't pushing it that hard. And like 150 people later, we're like, well, clearly that works. Yeah. So from a social proof standpoint, having them post that is big, or like giving them a added bonus if they do that. And then like the second part is just like, once again, like has to go off of that like momentum, monkey see, monkey do type thing. Comment stack posts work really well. So if you've got 5,000 people in a group and you're like, listen, if you joined today, or if you want the link right now, comment down below and we'll send you the link. When somebody sees 120 comments on a post of 120 people posting on a link or posting on a post, and you're sending them over that link, the likeliness that they're going to comment to just increases that much more.
Yeah.
And then you're going to send them over to a page with a pixel on them, and boom, you've got a pixel, even if they don't buy. So, I social proof and that community involvement of, hey, if you've bought, like, let us know. Hey, if you're repping your swag, let us know. Like, creating that sense of like community, team, everybody else is doing it. FOMO, don't miss out. Brilliant when it comes to Facebook.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome. And then the only other round that I had, but I want to skip that round also because I want to get to the meat of a couple of really key questions, was tools. But I know you mentioned group funnels. Is there anything else that you use to really like build, manage, grow groups?
Yeah, no. So group funnels with connected with I don't know if you pronounce it Zapier or Zapier. Zapier. So group funnels, Zapier, Excel. Google Sheets is like kind of the three tools that we use to pull into the software. So like once a week, my VA goes through, exports group funnels onto the spreadsheet, uploads the spreadsheet into automated software, automation software, and we send people out there, their freebies or whatever. Welcome to the.
She only does it once a week. You can't do it instantly.
Oh, you can.
Okay.
You can, but like we only approve them once a week because then they go through and then they tag them in like a welcome post. So let's say we have 100 new members in there. The VA goes and literally like mentions all 100 people in the welcome post and is like, welcome the new members, because then that instantly gets them engaged because they've been tagged in a post.
Yeah.
Because
there's an automatic way to do that, right? Inside of Facebook groups. I think Mike Bontempo was telling me that you can just hit a button on the side and then it like fills it up for you.
What? Oh my gosh, that's new to me. Maybe it is. I'll have to look into that.
Because I asked him, because he does it in his Facebook group where all the time, once a week, he posts welcome. He's adding people all the time. Like it's a constant flow of ad. But then once a week, he'll post welcome our new members. And I asked him, I'm like, do you just sit there and like figure out who all join and like individually? And he's like, no, dude. On the right side, there's a little thing that says, welcome all your new members, and you just click it, and then you just add a post, and then you just hit submit.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know about this.
I'm just going off of, I'll ask him again, but that's literally because
I'll have to look.
Yeah, because I felt it was insane. I'm like, I'm gonna sit here and do that, like it's crazy.
I have a VA do it. No, I don't do it.
Still same.
Huh.
I don't want to teach a VA to do it even. He said he made it sound like there was some super like click, and then it's live.
I'll look into it, but people, check it out if that's the thing. Like, you just save yourself a lot.
Awesome.
Of work.
All right, well, I want to move into round number 5, my selfish round. So round number 5, here's what we're trying to do. So I got the Lurn Center here in suburban Maryland. I'm surrounded by Virginia and DC, all very drivable distances to the center. And built this place mostly for myself just because I needed a playground for myself. But obviously we have a lot of space. We have a lot of event space, and we have a lot of places where people can just kind of come hang out and work from a desk throughout the day if they want, or they can run their own events. They can run their own training classes here. There's a lot of cool stuff. Meetings, lots of meeting space. I'm not afraid of running ads. I don't care. I'll spend money and do whatever. We do events here for ourselves sometimes. We bring in speakers sometimes. We've been trying to really test and figure out what the right mix is for the local group. And I just started thinking, like, what if I were to just build a group that way? Let's say we announce an event. We're going to do like a Facebook ads workshop for 3 hours on Saturday. It's $97 register now. It kind of sucks to have to create a whole ad campaign for it, and then you have to shoot ads, and then you have to run ads, you have to build landing pages, pixels and tracking and data, and it's kind of annoying. And then I just kind of thought to myself, I'm like, what if I just had like 30,000-40,000 local businesses in the group, and we found a way to keep them, not even that many, 5,000, 6,000, I don't care, whatever. I mean, how many ever small businesses locally get in there? But then we engage them, we post lots of cool content. Maybe we even post like coupons sometimes locally, like, hey, such and such restaurant's offering a deal. And so that way it keeps people like excited. And that way, when I have an event, I just like talk about it in the group, post it in the group, keep talking about it for a few weeks, and hopefully just sell out the tickets, and like I don't have to run a whole. And then all of my ad campaigns really just focus on building the group up. And that's kind of like, so it funnelizes the local thing. So that was just kind of my thought process. That's like a thing I've been thinking through. Does that make sense to you? Does that sound like it's a logical approach to get this place active?
Yeah, you're like 80% of the way there.
Okay.
I mean, I really do. You think so? And I agree. I was gonna literally say a lot of the things that you said as far as like localized coupons, create community aspect of things, maybe even like do like raffles where certain businesses can go through and promote like special promotions for other local people in the area. Like you really want to like when it comes to local groups and anything local, that sense of support in the local community is incredibly, incredibly important. So and people are going to be drawn to that. The one thing that I would add to that, and that I would say is like probably the key piece that you're missing there. That sounds simple, but it really is something that you want to keep at the forefront of your mind. Is you've got to give them like any of the answers to the questions that they would have, or any of the places like where they're like, oh, I would want that. You need to keep all of that inside the Facebook group. So if it's like, hey, where's your frequently asked question page? Oh, you have a bunch of questions? Great. Join our Facebook group and make sure that you're in there because that's where we answer all the questions. Oh, you have this. So like when you take all of these other things, like normally if you had a support center, right, you'd like, they'd call in and they'd be like, yeah, we can get you questions. Go to our website. Instead of having a website for it, like point everything back to the Facebook group. And obviously you're going to have a website, but like when you are giving them a reason and the answers to all of their questions and the solutions to all of their desires are all inside the Facebook group, that's when people are actually going to go and become active and become a part of it. There was a thing I was watching between John, I can't think of the guy's name. He's the restaurant marketing god guy. He was being interviewed by Gary Vaynerchuk, where he was talking about how when you bring a new customer into a restaurant, there's like a 30% chance that if they have a flawless experience, they'll come back. If they come back a second time, there's like a 40% of a repeat customer. But if you get them to have a third meal with a flawless experience, there's like a 77% return rate for them to continue to come back. It's that same exact concept with a Facebook group. If you get them in there, the likeliness of them coming back and actually making a post or engaging, not that great. But if you can get them to post 2 to 3 times in there, the likeliness of them coming back and also engaging more is very, very significantly high. And I have found that a large majority of our members that post more than 3 to 4 times post a lot, and people that post like under 3 times don't post that much at all. So what you want to do is you want to incentivize them to not only join the group, but get engaged and active as quickly as possible. So, hey, if you go and join the group and, make a post in the first 24 hours and just like introductory post, we'll give you 10% off admission to like whatever it is. And like any form of incentive to get them to engage like 2 or 3 times, from a local community standpoint, they're much more likely to go there. And to create a center of what are questions that people in their local community are asking that I can put in this group that will allow them to get answers. Even if that's like, hey, I know you're big in like politics and like stuff like that being active. So like things about election time, where to go to vote, how to register to vote, how to be active in your community when it comes to, getting things done that you want done. And like anything that's community focused and answers to community problems, if you can keep them in there, that's where you're going to get the most engagement.
Oh, love it. God, I was going to ask a question and I completely forgot. Okay, here's what I need. So this is the last thing I'm going to make you do before we sign off. I cannot think of a name for this group. I need help. So I'm being greedy because I don't want to call it the Maryland group because Virginia and DC are such drivable distances. They're less than 30 minutes a lot of times. But then I'm like, Maryland, DC, and Virginia, that's like already that long. Then you say DMV area. That's another, I forgot what it stands for, something.
Department of Motor Vehicles.
No, there's a term we use here locally. And it's considered, they consider it this tri-state area. But I think the core of what we teach here, I'm not a guy to come to learn like about taxes or about all of that. It's marketing. I love teaching marketing. We actually have an incubator we're launching in 2020. It's a physical incubator for local businesses where we take them through from step A all the way, them or their team member, and by the end, they're up and running ads on Google and Facebook and generating local leads. So I think it's definitely in the lead gen world, marketing, digital marketing. A lot of our events are around that. So should I just call it the Maryland Small Business Marketing, Maryland Small Business, I don't know, and then just say DC and Virginia will join it because they'll just join anyways? Or
I would say that, I don't know what the terminology or the lingo would be to define your area, but whatever people, so like you've got to come at it, and this is especially true in a local group, okay? Local group more so than anything else. When it's an international group, you're focused on keywords for like entrepreneurship, lead generation, social media. But when you're a local group, you have to look at, okay, if I'm trying to search a local group, what am I going to search? I'm going to search where I'm from, and I'm going to search what I identify as, right? And I don't mean politically identify as, I mean like, hey, business owner, right? Or like, and I'm going to use the word, if I'm in Maryland and I'm looking for other people in Maryland, right? I'm going to look and use the word local, right? So it's like local business owners, lead generation, education, Maryland, right? Like these are all keywords that someone in your ideal audience is going to search if they're looking for groups on Facebook for local people. So absolutely, I would include the term Maryland, or at least whatever the local term that people would identify as local in your area. I would definitely include the word local, and I would definitely include the word like business or marketing or whatever it is that you're trying to teach them, because it's like, okay, where am I at? What do I identify as? And what do I want? Right? So like those are kind of the three keywords that people are going to be typing in when they're searching for a group. Because remember, like they don't know who you are yet. So if they're searching your group, they're going to be like, all right, well, I'm looking for like a Lurn center of like, some place where I can go to learn marketing, or like a community event center or like something like that. What would I search? Maryland event center, local business.
So that was I just Googled while you were talking. DMV is it's defined, the DMV area is defined as DC, Virginia, Maryland. But like this example, Provok sitting right here, he did not know that. So I'm also confused. Like, I wonder if a lot of people know DMV means that. So should I just call it?
Include it in your description. So like they're going to search like Maryland local business area or whatever, right? If you name it DMV, they might not know that. But if the first couple words in your description is for local business owners in Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia, right? Like if you go on Facebook right now, and I could even bring it up, and you search a terminology on like for a Facebook group, and you're filtered by Facebook groups. Let's say I put in like social media and hit search and went to groups where it's going to be showing up. Like the first thing that's going to show me is like, oh, social media marketing private agency group. Like I can have a pretty long name, but then right underneath that, if I go and I click, well, I'm joining of that one. Sorry. Right underneath that one, I'm going to be able to see, if I'm not joined into it, the description of what it's about. So this one group is literally called social media, and I can see right in here the actual description of who it's for, what it's specifically for. Same thing is true in the cover photo.
Got it. So I could say DMV. That way I'm not eliminating Virginia and DC. So DMV, small business owner lead generator. It's such a horrible group name. That's why I struggle with it.
No, I wouldn't say owner lead generation. I would say like small business, marketing, or like small business,
digital marketing, online marketing.
Yeah. You can adjust the group name as it grows and as you get feedback back. If it's just a word or two, I wouldn't like completely rebrand it. Right. But like if it's a matter of people that you finding out that a lot of people refer to it as digital marketing, I'm guessing in a local business world, you're probably going to have a slightly older audience if they're brick and mortar. So they might refer to it as online, right? Marketing, or internet, like on the internet, or on social media. So like figure out like those terminologies, but remember like your audience, like the people that are coming to you locally and the people that like are going to know who you are from you that are already on your email list, you're going to blast them out and be like, yo, join our group. Here's what it is. Right. And they're going to listen to you regardless. But when you're naming your group for a local based thing, you're wanting like keywords that people are going to identify with specifically in like a searchable term, or that people are going to be like, oh, that looks like me. DMV area, local business marketing tips, or like local business marketing conference center or something like that. Right. Like that sounds like something that I would like to join. So if I were going to go search in Omaha right now where I live, and I was looking for local business Facebook groups, I would type in like, local business marketing or local business something Omaha, right? And then I hit search, and then I'd filter by groups, and then I'd look at them all. That's what you're basically looking for.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm actually going to go here real quick. I'm on Facebook, and that's when I search DMV. I'll look that up, see what comes up. Virginia DMV, MVA DMV. All right. Well, I'm going to go have fun with this. and see if I can't come up with a great name for this. But this is going to happen. This is one of those. So anyone who's they're right here, DMV Black owned business. So it does seem like 8K members. So it seems like it's got something going. All right. So anyone who's watching The Fighting Entrepreneur, you can hold me accountable to this. I will be implementing. I will be doing this. Josh, where can people find you, man? They're going to want much more of this. I know that. They're going to want much more of you. So drop all the links.
Drop all the links. ThinkDifferentTheory.com is the podcast. That's where you're going to be able to get like the Mindshift playbook, which is my digital book, but it's like 70 pages long book guide, has worksheets, videos on everything about mindset. And then of course my podcast, ThinkDifferentTheory.com/listen. If you actually want to follow me, the best place to follow me right now is my Instagram at Josh Forti, JOSHF as in Frank ORTI. I am getting ready to go on a 4-month world trip around the world, 14 countries in 4 months. And we're going to be filming and vlogging and everything. The whole thing will be all over Instagram, all over social media. So that's going to be super epic. And we're going to build some audiences around that. So it'll be fun. But Instagram is going to be the best place to do that. And then, of course, my Facebook group, Social Media for Entrepreneurs. You can check that out as well. But the main place right now is going to be Instagram. Instagram and the podcast is where we're putting out a lot of content.
Man, awesome. Well, follow Josh. I'm telling you, he does some crazy, amazing stuff, and he puts it all out there. Big fan. Everyone go follow it. And listen, if you're watching it on YouTube, come on, leave a comment. You gotta throw Josh some love here. He took time away from his life, his business, and everything to be here with us and drop some massive value bombs. Hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up icon thingy, and hit the like button, whatever. Just hit the bell icon. Hit that. And of course, if you're listening to us on any of the other platforms, please do go subscribe and make sure you leave us a great review so that we can spread the love and get the Fighting Entrepreneur into as many homes as possible and change the world together. Josh, thanks again for being with us, ladies and gentlemen. This is Anik Singal reminding you, when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. I will see you in the Lurn Nation Facebook group. Until next time, you fighting entrepreneurs, go out there and fight for your dreams. See you later.
Thanks for listening to The Fighting Entrepreneur with your host, Anik Singal.